Hi, Easy Enough English members. This video is going to be going over some of the most basic parts of the English language. So first, we're going to do parts of speech, and then we're going to talk about the basic construction or makeup of a sentence in English. Okay, these are some of the most basic things about English that you need to know. Okay, so first, let's talk about parts of speech. Parts of speech are just the different kinds of words we have in English. In English, every word has a category, okay, or a type, a kind, okay, and we have 8 basic kinds of words in English, okay. Number 1, we're going to be looking at pronouns. Now, a pronoun is just what you know as he, she, it, I, you, we, or they. Those are pronouns, okay? These are subject pronouns, which are not the same as object pronouns, but we'll go into that later, okay? Number 2, we have a noun. A noun is a person, a place, or a thing. Okay, so this is a person, this is a house or a building, and this is a pencil, okay? A thing is something that is not alive. Okay. So for example, I've written 3 nouns for you. The first one is James. That's me. I'm a person. I'm a noun. And you guys are all nouns too. Okay. Then we have library. The library is a place where you read books. That's a place. Now a place is also a noun. And the last one we have is marker. A marker is a thing. Okay. It's not alive. So this is also a noun. So we have James, a library, and a marker. Those are all nouns. Number 3, we have adjectives, which adjectives tell us something about a noun. So we have hot, cold, handsome, pretty, tall, short, okay. Colors can also be adjectives. So this is a purple marker, okay. This is a big library, okay. I am a tall person. Actually, I'm not that tall, okay. But that's not important. Okay, number 4, we have verbs. Okay, now verbs are things you do with your body, actions. Okay, so some examples I have are go, run, eat, sleep, play, and watch. Those are all things you can do with your body, so they're called verbs. Okay, next we have adverbs. Now, an adjective tells us something about a noun. An adverb tells us how somebody does something. They can do something quickly, angrily, softly, or if you're waiting for somebody to come and meet you and they're a little late, you can say, oh, when are you going to get here? And that person can say something like, I'll be there shortly, very quickly, okay. So this is a little different because it talks about time from these other ones. These other ones are used to describe how somebody can do something. And this is really to describe how soon somebody will be somewhere, okay? These are all adverbs. Now you should notice something about adverbs. Adverbs are basically adjectives with an ly on the end. Not all of them, but a lot of them. See? Quickly, angrily, softly, shortly. If we take that away, the ly, we have adjectives. Okay. Next is a conjunction. Now a conjunction puts 2 sentences together. Conjunctions are and, but, so, because, or however. Now, there are more of all of these things. These are just some examples that I have written. Okay. Number 7, we have what's called an interjection. Now, what an interjection does in a sentence is gives you a feeling of what emotion the person has when they're speaking. So some examples of interjections can be, hey, or look, listen, ouch, or wow. Those are all interjections because they show us what kind of emotion a person has when they're speaking. And the last one is a preposition. These are some prepositions: in, on, under, over, between, and at. So these are the 8 basic parts of speech. Every word in the English language will be one of these. It will fall into one of these categories or types or kinds of words. Okay. Now, moving over, I want to talk about the basic construction of a sentence in English. How to put together a sentence in English. Okay. Now, a sentence is made up of two basic things. The simplest sentence is only two things. Okay. Those two things are a subject and a verb. Now, some sentences can have a subject, a verb, and an object, but you don't need an object to make a good, complete sentence. Okay? For example, an example of a sentence with just a subject and a verb would be something like this. He runs. Now remember, because of third person singular, if we have a he, we need to add an S to our verb. Okay. Now, this is a complete and good sentence in English. It can be as simple as just two words. Okay. Now, most of you know of sentences that are very long. You might say, oh, well, every time I pick up a book or I hear someone talk, they don't speak in just two words like that. That's true. Okay. So those kind of sentences are harder, but it's important that you understand the very simplest way to make a sentence first before you can understand the very long sentences. Okay. So now, what I'm going to try to do is, I'm going to try to make a sentence with all of these things, just one sentence, and it will be very long, but we're going to see how we do that to talk about the order of these words in a sentence. Okay. Now, let's talk about our subject first. A subject is one of three things: a person, a place, or a thing. Does that sound familiar? That is the same thing as number two, a noun. So a subject is just a noun. Okay. Now, let's look at the object. The object is the same thing. The object is either a person, a place, or a thing, which is also a noun. Okay. So the subject and object of a sentence are always nouns. Okay. Now, what do we put between those things to make a sentence? We need to put an action or a verb. Okay. So I can make a sentence with, I'm going to try to make a sentence with all of these words, and then we're going to look at that sentence. Okay. But first, let's just make a very simple sentence. We've already made a two-word sentence. Now let's make a three-word sentence. Okay. I'm just going to use myself as the subject. Okay. I'll say James, and my verb can be, let's see if I can use one of these. Runs. Okay. And now my object, I'll use a place. I'll say park. Okay. Now, some of you may know that something is missing from this sentence. This is not a good sentence. Something's missing. I have my subject, that's true. I have a verb, and I have an object. But I can't say James runs park. That does not make sense. One of these things is a place. Okay, that's the park. So if I'm talking about anytime you talk about a place in English and someone doing something in a place, you need to have one of these parts of speech. Do you know which one it is? It's the preposition. Okay, so I need to have a preposition for me running at the park. I just gave you the answer, right? But I would say something like this. I would have to say James runs where? Park. Okay, where on the park? In, at, under, behind? Well, I'm just going to say in the park. Okay, so now I have a good sentence. I have James runs in the park. That is a good sentence. I have my subject, which is James, my verb, which is runs, and my object, which is a place, a noun, is park. Okay, that's a very simple sentence. But in this very simple sentence, I already have 3 of the things on my parts of speech list. I have a pronoun, a proper noun, okay? I have a verb, and I have a preposition, okay? I already have 3 things. Now, we're going to try to make a simpler, or excuse me, a harder sentence using all of these. Now, I already know that I can use the interjection first, because remember, an interjection is used to give a sentence emotion, okay? So I can say something like this. Look. Okay, now that's my interjection. Now, I want to use me, the subject, James. Okay, now let's say, well, actually, let's do this. Remember what an adjective does. An adjective describes a noun, tells us about a noun. So actually, let's save the adjective for the part, not me. I can say James runs. Okay. Now I'm going to say, remember, adverbs tell us how we do something. Okay, I'm going to say quickly. Quickly. Okay, so I have my pronoun, my proper noun. And I remember, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that also a pronoun can be a name. Some of you might be confused, like saying, hey, he said James is a pronoun and it's also a noun. Well, a person's name can be a pronoun too. Okay, so actually I have, in this whole sentence here, I have my interjection, number 7. I have a pronoun and a noun, because the pronoun and a noun are both nouns, okay? So that's James, so I already have 3 things in just the first 2 words of my sentence. Runs, I have my verb, okay? Quickly, I have my adverb, so I have 5 of the things, 5 of the parts of speech in this very short sentence, and I'm not even done, okay? I need 3 more things, okay? So let's say, look, James runs quickly. Now I'm going to get my preposition, that will be 6. In the, and now let's use our adjective here to tell us about the part. In the big, I want to write down here so I don't go off the screen, park. Okay. Now, we have how many things? We have our interjection, our pronoun and our noun, our verb, our adverb, our preposition, our adjective. Okay, so we have 6 things. So we need 2 more things. What 2 things are those? Well, we need to have, we need 2 more things. 1 more thing. We need our conjunction. Okay. Now, a conjunction is used to tell us, to give us a reason for something, okay? So, and would tell us would be to combine 2 like things together, okay? But is to tell us about something being different. So, and because are used to tell us the reason for a result, or the reason for something. And however, you can think of them as being just like but. Now, I need a conjunction in this sentence. Look, James runs quickly in the big park. Let's use because. Oh, sorry. Because he, let's say, let me use purple. I don't know, what can I say? Because I'll just say he is fat. Okay. Now, let's look at all of the parts of this sentence, right? Like I said we have our interjection here. I'm just going to abbreviate. INT is interjection, okay? Here we have a pronoun. Here we have a verb. Here we have an adverb. Here we have a preposition. Here we have an adjective. Okay, this is a noun or place. Okay, so we'll say this is the noun. Okay, we'll split out pronoun and noun just to show that we can use all of these in a sentence without using one word more than once. Okay, here we have a conjunction. Okay, here we have another pronoun. I'll write it down here. And here we have another adjective. Okay, so let's see if we succeeded, if we did use all 8 parts of speech. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A noun is 7, and our conjunction is 8. So we use all 8 parts of speech over here in this sentence, right? Now, I couldn't have done that if I didn't know the basic way to make a sentence in English, which is just subject plus a verb, okay? Now let's talk about this a little bit more. We have our interjection at the beginning to tell us what feeling the speaker has, okay? Our subject is a person. The verb tells us what he's doing, okay? The adverb tells us how he runs, quickly or slowly. I'm running quickly. Tells me how I'm doing something. Okay. Then I have my preposition to tell me where I'm running. In the big adjective tells us something about the part, which is a noun. Okay. Conjunction, because. The because is telling us why I'm running. Because I am fat. Okay. And here's another pronoun. And here's another adjective. So that's the basic construction of the sentence, and this is very important if you want to know how to make a sentence in English and how to speak correctly when speaking English. That's the video, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you do like the video, please be sure to leave me a comment in the comments section.